so welcome back to my channel. I did a poll on Instagram and you guys picked for me to go ahead and do YouTube made me buy it and do I like it video. I have so many products in front of me. Like, I don't even know how I'm gonna do this without talking too much, but let's just go ahead and get started because it's gonna be a long video, so let's go. All right, so the first 5 are all primers. I'm just gonna go ahead in random order. Okay, so the first one is the NYX Angel Veil primer. I had heard so many good things about this primer, and honestly when I first bought it I did like it, but after a while I just noticed it didn't do anything for my skin. Whenever I applied it, it was just like, but I do know a lot of people have this as their favorite, but for me I just did not like it that much. So moving on to the Farsali Unicorn Essence Serum Drop. Okay, so I did do a review on this and I do like it for, you know, initial application when I put my foundation on. But if you're oily like me, let me just tell you guys right now, you're gonna get so oily no matter what you do. So if you're looking for a good primer, I will recommend this, but if you are oily like me, it's not the best option. Okay, so moving on to the Too Faced Hangover RX primer. This one's really good if you do have dry skin at the moment. I usually have oily skin, but because it's winter, my skin is a little bit drier. So I always go ahead and pick this one underneath my makeup and I really do love it. All right, so the next one's the Porefessional by Benefit. Honestly, this is really good when it comes to pores. I have really large pores in my area, especially around my cheek area, but this is really good for filling those thins in. So I do recommend this if you do have large pores. And last but not least, Casey Holmes really just sold this one for me. She said the Katy Austin Prime and Protect Mattifying Primer is one of the best she's tried when it comes to controlling her oils, and I do agree. I wear it every single day and I barely get oily, or if I do get oily, it's around like the 6-hour mark, which is not too bad. But this one, you guys, is my holy grail and I really do recommend it. The only part about it is it's around $60, but I did buy this a year ago and I'm still not done with this. So it's a really good primer. I do think it's worth it. So my favorite 3 would be the Katy Austin Primer, the Benefit Porefessional, and also the Too Faced Hangover RX Primer. The Farsali Unicorn Essence Drops, you can go ahead and pick this one up. It's not my favorite, but I do not hate it at the same time. But the NYX Angel Veil, this one can just go. Okay, so moving on to foundation, I do have 4. I couldn't narrow it down. So the first one that was so talked about on YouTube was the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. This one was so talked about because it's very full coverage. It covers up all the dark marks on your face, controls oil, and it looks so good on the skin 8+ hours. It's just one of the best I've tried out there. If I'm going out, I always go ahead and recommend this one. Alright, so moving on to the Nars Sheer Glow Foundation. This is like my everyday foundation, but every single YouTuber always talked about this, whether you were oily or had dry skin or normal skin. Everybody loved this foundation, and this is my favorite foundation, to be honest. I know when you hear the sheer glow part, you're just thinking like, wow, if I'm oily I cannot wear this, but I'm telling you right now, you can go ahead and wear it on your skin and it will still look beautiful without making you too oily. So go ahead and pick this one up. Okay, so Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. I know you guys knew this was coming, but every single YouTuber did a review on this foundation and a lot of people do love it. I also do love this foundation, but I also kind of don't like this foundation because after a couple hours of wear, it does start to break apart on my skin. I've tried it with primer and without primer and I still have the same issue. And also 420 is a little bit too light for me and 430 is a little bit orange on me. So I don't have my perfect shade either with this foundation, but at the same time, when it comes to oily skin, this just controls my oil so well, so I always do recommend this one. Alright, so last foundation is the Nars Natural Radiant Foundation. I already did a review on this and you guys know I do love it. I have it on today and I do wear the shade Marquises. This foundation just looks so beautiful on the skin. It's very full coverage, covers up all the dark marks on my face and controls my oil. It is just one of the best foundations I have tried. I do know it's very expensive, so I do recommend waiting to get a coupon or anything like that at Ulta because that's where I bought it for around $40, so I did save a lot of money. But it's just one of the best I have honestly tried and it just looks so beautiful on my skin. So also one more thing I will say, it does have a perfect match. It just looks perfect on my chest area. So Marquises, if you guys are around the same shade as me, go ahead and pick this one up. Okay, so moving on to concealers, I do have 3. So the first one is a Naked Skin by Urban Decay, and I do have it in the shade Dark Golden. When this first came out, every single YouTuber was talking about it. I was just like, what's the hype about this? It cannot be that good. I went ahead and picked it up, and it was really good back then. But then when I tried other concealers, I'm just like, you know what, this one's alright. Like, it's just not that good. I do love the wand with this, but also one thing I will say is the shade is a little bit off for my under eye area. It's just a very odd shade. And the other one's a little bit too dark for me, but it's just not one of my favorite. I never used this. I've had this for about a year and a half now and I haven't touched it, so I really do not recommend this one. All right, so moving on to the Tarte Shake Tape. I already know. But this concealer, I will honestly say, is one of the best concealers I've ever tried. It covers up all the dark circles underneath my eyes, very full coverage, and blends out so well. But one thing I will say, it's a shade deep. It's a little bit too dark for a highlight shade for me. So what I do is I go ahead and apply another concealer on top, and it's absolutely perfect. So Tarte Shake Tape, I love it, but you already know what's going on out here. Okay, so last but not least is a Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is every single YouTuber's favorite concealer out there. I'm sure a lot of people do love this still. The shade I do have now is a new shade in Walnut. Honestly, it's a little bit yellow for my under eye, but what I do is I go ahead and mix it with my concealers. Let me go ahead and swatch it for you guys. So this is what it looks like on my skin. I love how radiant this creamy concealer is. Very creamy, very blendable, looks so beautiful underneath the eyes, and it never gets cakey. The only con about it, I will say, is this runs out so freaking fast, and it's $30. So can you imagine replacing this all the time? But for $30, I will say it's worth it. It's very creamy, very blendable, looks so beautiful underneath the eyes, so I really do recommend it. Okay, so moving on to setting powders, I do have two for you guys. The first one is the Sacha Buttercup setting powder. You already know, if you watch my videos, I do not like this powder, but when it first came out, every single person, especially if you're a woman of color, people of color, everybody loved this powder because it's one of the best yellow setting powder for, you know, dark skinned people. But what I don't like about it is it gets very cakey underneath my eyes. The color is perfect, but it just looks really cakey underneath the eyes, so I do not recommend this one. But moving on to the Lauder Mercier powder, I will say I love this powder so much when it comes to high-end powders. I love how the shade Translucent is not too white underneath my eyes. I mean, it does look like a little bit of a white cast, but it's not dramatic whatsoever. And the powder is also finely milled, so it doesn't get cakey underneath my eyes. So I really do recommend this one. I know it's expensive, but honestly, I've had this one for about a year and a half now, and I haven't ran out whatsoever. So this one I recommend. Sacha Buttercup, no. Okay, so moving on to a setting powder. If you guys do watch Alyssa Ashley here on YouTube, she always talks about her Sephora Micro Smooth powder. So I went ahead to Sephora and picked up the shade Deep. But this, you guys, on my skin, it looks so red. And honestly, I don't like it as a powder for setting the face because it doesn't control my oil and it's a little bit too powdery for my skin. But what I love it for, honestly, is as a bronzer. It is just one of the best bronzers I've tried. Very creamy on the skin. Doesn't look as harsh as other bronzers out there, and it blends so well. Let me go ahead and give you guys a quick swatch. So I don't know if you guys can see it on my skin tone. It looks red, so as a bronzer, it's really, really good. I know a lot of people don't know this as a bronzer, but I'm telling you right now, if you go ahead and pick it up and try it as a bronzer, I really do think it just works perfectly fine. But it's around $22. It's not a bad price. But as a powder, which is meant for it, I would say no, but as a bronzer, I would give it a yes. Okay, so moving on to contour products. If you guys did not hear about this on YouTube or Instagram or social media in general, I don't know what you were doing, but these are the KKW contour sticks. Anyways, honestly, I do not think these are horrible products. I think the problem is you don't get a lot of product, and one, it is $60 to get this whole kit with the brush. So I do not think it's worth it in that aspect. But their dark contour shade, let me go ahead and show you guys what it looks like because I completely used it up. It is so creamy on the skin, so pigmented, it blends so well, so I really do like that. But for $60 to get this and the little stick right here and also the little brush, like, it's not worth it whatsoever. So please do not waste your money. But if they did go ahead and split these products up and sell them like individually, I would go ahead and then buy them. But on the plus side, you guys, the Fenty Beauty Contour Stick in the shade Espresso, I love this so much because one, it is affordable. It's $24 and she gives you a lot of product. And three, you guys, it's so pigmented on the skin. Let me go ahead and show you guys. Look at how dark this shade is. Like, I am so here for it. But I'm sure you guys already know about the Fenty Beauty Contour Sticks. Everybody uses it out there, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop talking about them. Okay, so moving on to blush, I do have two for you guys. The first one is a blush kit by Anastasia in the shade Gradient. I've already done a review of this on my channel, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. But I do recommend it because these colors are so pretty. They're every single shade I would ever need in the blush, and they're so creamy. I just love that about them, and very blendable on the skin. Okay, so moving on to Sleek Makeup Blush. This is in the shade Sahara. Now I've always been looking for a very peachy shade for the cheeks, one that is very orange and has like that corally shade to it. And this one is absolutely beautiful on the skin. What I love about it is, one, it comes with a mirror, and I do love the packaging on it. And also it was around $14, so it's not too expensive, but it's so creamy, and I love the shade when I put it on my skin tone. It looks so beautiful, especially for springtime. The only con about it, I will say, is you can only get it on their website, but besides that, I do think it's a great blush. So these two right here, you guys, go ahead and pick them up because they're totally worth it. Okay, so moving on to highlighters, I do have 4 because there were so many on YouTube that a lot of people were talking about. So the first one right here is a Wet n Wild Precious Petals highlighter. If you guys didn't hear about this, I don't know where you were living, because every single person went out and got this shade. Let me go ahead and swatch it. So this is what it looks like on my skin, and what I love about it is it's only $5 or $4.99, something like that, but it's so affordable, and the pigmentation on this is absolutely crazy. But the next drugstore product I do have is a Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter in the shade Molten Gold. This one's on a different level. All right, let me go ahead and swatch it. So this is what it looks like right here. I mean, it's just so reflective on the skin, so pigmented for $10. You guys already know I love this highlighter so much. But the next two I do have are high-end products. The first one is the Dose of Colors Mirame highlighter. Now this formula is a little bit different. It's not like any highlighter I've tried out there. It's so soft to the touch, and it's so freaking pretty on the skin. Let me go ahead and swatch it. Okay, so this is what it looks like in the packaging, and this is what it looks like on my skin. On my skin, it does come off a little bit more rose gold, so I will say that. But when I put it on my skin, it does have more gold on the skin. So when you swatch it, it looks a little bit pinky right here. But on my skin, when I put it on my face, it's a little bit more gold. The last one is Lauder Gilded Honey. Every single person talked about this highlighter, but it's just so pretty in the packaging, the swirl, the reflective that it gives off. Let me go ahead and give you guys a quick swatch. Okay, so this one right here is a Mirame highlighter, and right beneath it is a Lauder Gilded Honey. Honestly, the Gilded Honey does look like the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter, so they're kind of like a dupe, if I do say so myself. But all these highlighters were so hyped up, and they're honestly worth it. But my favorite out of all these ones will be the Wet n Wild Precious Petals, just because it's the cheapest and it's also so pigmented like the rest of them. So these 4, you guys, I really recommend you guys to go out and get them. So it's getting dark outside. Let me go ahead and wrap this up. So I do have 2 setting sprays. The first one is the Milani Make It Last setting spray. When it comes to drugstore setting sprays, this is the best I've tried out there. Granted, I don't use it as often as I used to because I do love my Urban Decay All Night setting spray. But this one, when it comes to drugstore, is only $10. It really does set the skin and makes it last a long time. So I do recommend this one. But moving on to the Smashbox Photo Primer Water. This one is a flop to me. Honestly, so many people talked about this as a primer, as a setting spray, and it just doesn't work for me either way. I did used to like this before, but the more I use it, the more I realize it doesn't really do anything for my skin. And it's $32. For what reason? For what reason? But the only reason I do use it is if my beauty blender is dry, I go ahead and spray this on there, but that's about it. So I do not recommend this. I don't know why people like it, because it just doesn't do anything for me. So this one I do recommend. This one, you guys, go ahead and get it. Okay, so moving on to hyped up products that were talked about on YouTube. I do have 2 eyeshadow palettes for you guys. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Jaclyn Hill palette. I'm sure a lot of you guys do have this, but the reason why I love it is because it's very creamy and pigmented for a Morphe eyeshadow palette. And also what I love about it is you can create so many looks with just this palette. You can create a natural look, a smoky look, a colorful look, whatever you desire. You can go ahead and use it all with this one palette. But let me go ahead and move to a palette that I don't really recommend. Okay, so this is the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette. Honestly, when you look at it, it has so many pretty shades in here, but what I don't like about it is the price. For $60, you guys, I think that's a little bit overpriced for all the shades you do get in here, because honestly, this bottom row shades right here, especially their texture shadows, those are very chunky on the eyes, but the shimmers and mattes are absolutely beautiful. So if this was around like $40 or something like that, I will recommend it, but because it's $60, I don't recommend it whatsoever. Okay, so moving on to the last products, I do have the Katy lip kits. Now when this first came out, every single person was talking about it. At first, I wasn't interested because it was a little bit too expensive for me. $30 per lip kit plus the $8.95 shipping or something like that was a little bit too high for me. But one day I was sitting in bed, I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and buy it. And when I did get it, you guys, honestly, I wasn't wowed. I wasn't, you know, amazed by it. I just think it's a normal lip kit, but what I do like about it is the packaging. I do like the packaging. It's a little bit different from what's out there. And you also do get a lip liner and also a lipstick. So that's pretty cool. But besides that, I do not think it's worth $30 per kit, and also the $8.95 shipping. That's just a little bit too much for me. But if you do have the money to get these products, please go ahead by all means. But honestly, I'm not pressed to get them. They do have launches every other week, so I'm not running to the site to go get a new product. But they're not horrible. I just, you know, do not like them that much. But that's everything I do have for you guys. I'm so surprised I got through all these products, because when I first saw them, I was like, whoa, this is a lot to talk about. But I did get through them. But one more thing before you guys go ahead and leave, please let me know what you would love to know about me, because I am planning to do a Q&A. So please ask me some questions down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in my next one.